There. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Pull up a chair, sit down, take a breath, pause. I'm Veronica Drake. My friends call me V. I hope that you'll consider me a friend. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and if you really like this video, share it with a friend. I'm going to talk to you today about something that most people won't talk about, and that is seeing dead people. Now, you might say, as a psychic medium, I'm used to it. Well, I wasn't always used to it. I started somewhere just like you do. And I guess part of me sharing this story is to show you how much like you I am. I never had any context for any of this stuff that happened to me in the beginning. I wasn't raised with this. I was kind of lost with all of it. And when I was 25 years old, I was pregnant with my second child, and I'd lost my beloved grandfather. He was 67 years old. We knew that he had a heart condition that he opted not to have surgery for, but we didn't know exactly when this was going to happen. Obviously, we never know when death is going to call. And when we lost him, I was not notified until maybe a half a day later, maybe a day later even. I'm not sure what the time was. I can't remember that, because my family wanted to protect me, which, okay, there was nothing I could have done because his passing was rather uneventful. My brother and his then girlfriend were sitting with him. They were enjoying a bowl of ice cream. My grandfather took his last scoop of ice cream, put the bowl down, put his head back, and just sighed. And this is an account that my brother shares and remembers vividly, obviously. So he had a very gentle, easy, physically appeared crossing. When I got the news, I was inconsolable, as you can imagine, and I was figuring out in my head how to process this. I was terrified of death in my 20s. I was terrified to the point where every little thought about death would put me into a panic and a tailspin, and eventually I became obsessed with not dying, I guess you might say. So one day, one evening, I was lying on my couch, and I know I was awake. I remember being awake and just lying there. I didn't have the TV on. I was by myself. My 3-year-old had gone to bed. My husband was out at the store. And I was just lying on my couch, and I remember sobbing uncontrollably. Just couldn't catch my breath sobbing. And I was looking straight ahead, and I had my feet propped up, and I was kind of looking at my toes, and I looked to the side, and standing right at my feet was my grandfather, real as day. He was standing there. He presented. He was about 20, 22 years old. He had an army hat on his head, which, by the way, I have in this drawer behind me. He had his army uniform on. I could see him vividly. He was young, obviously. He was 67 when he passed. But as I'm seeing him, he was 20-ish, maybe. And I just was amazed. He spoke to me. I saw his physical being. He said to me, "I'm okay. I'm okay. You need to take care of that little boy inside of you." Now, in 1987, we didn't have ultrasounds like we have today. I didn't know I was having a little boy. This was in March of 87. My little boy was born in May of 87, so I was pretty significantly pregnant. And when I had him, I was remembering fondly the visit with my grandfather and just thinking how he knew. And so why I want to tell you this is I'm no different than you. This happens to everyone, I believe. Now, at different times and maybe different manners, maybe you'll hear something, maybe you'll have a thought of a loved one, maybe you will get a visitation. I don't know. But here's the thing I want you to remember. Absolutely no one has the right to tell you that it didn't happen. No one has the right to criticize you and to tell you, oh, you were hallucinating. No one has that right. Don't allow somebody else's belief system, somebody else's perspective to come into play when you are clearly having an experience with someone who's moved on. Now, I want to give you this analogy. If you were watching TV and the TV fizzled out and you just lost the picture and you got nothing, the TV wouldn't stop broadcasting. Other people are still going to see it. The program didn't just go away. You lost reception. This is what happens when we cannot consistently plug in or connect to our loved ones. You simply lost reception. And by the way, you are born with that receptor. You're born with it. Every single human is born with it. It's the standard package, if you will. So what I want you to remember, if you've lost someone and you're grieving and you don't know how to get over the grief, just sit with it. Be in that moment with it and talk to your loved one. Ask them, point blank, ask them for a sign, and then be open to receiving wherever, however they may send you that sign. I promise you, life doesn't end. I know that 1,000,000%. Again, if you like this kind of content, click subscribe, share this video, like this video, and let's just be friends.